Rabbi say, welcome back to Yerushalmi Terumot. We are Perek Shvi Halacha Beis, and this week's Sedra is Parshas Terumah. So it's well worth it that we should be learning Yerushalmi Terumot. Okay, we're talking about the din of a Bas Cohen who ate Terumah when she was forbidden to do so. So Bas Cohen Genesis Yisrael. So Bas Cohen marries Yisrael and she's forbidden to eat Terumah. V'achach ochla Terumah. And so first she marries Yisrael. And then Truma. So Bas Cohen, once she marries Israel, she's not allowed to eat Truma anymore. But unfortunately, Truma, she ate Truma by mistake. She has to pay for the principal. She does not have to pay the fifth. Right? This Truma here, she really didn't have a supposed to eat it. It's like Gezel. So she needs to pay the Keren. But she doesn't have to pay the Chomesh like a normal Zah who is Truma B'Shogeg, because paying the fifth is only on a Zah, on a Yisrael eating Truma. A Bas Cohen who's married to Yisrael, even though now she's not allowed to eat Truma, she's not a complete stranger. There's always the opportunity she may go back to her father's house if she gets divorced or widowed, right? She'll go back and she'll be able to eat Truma again if she gets widowed without children, divorced without children. So therefore, she has still got some significance of a Kehenes, and therefore now that she's eaten Truma by mistake, she only has to pay the Keren. It's by mistake. So she only pays the Keren.
Is that because she doesn't know Truma?
Yeah, it got mixed up, whatever it is. She doesn't have to pay the fifth. It means Sasa V'Sreifa. If she was immoral, an adulteress, the din is a Bas Ish Cohen who is adulterous, she gets Sreifa, which is more than what a normal Israelis get. That's also, we'll talk about that. This is La'achad Mikol Psulin. If she married someone who was who apostles forever, then afterwards, if she ate Truma B'Shogeg, then she's like a Zara now, she's like Israelis. So Shalemes Keren B'Chaim, she paid the principal and the fifth. Umi Sasa B'Chenek. And if she was immoral and adulteress, she would only get Chenek, which is the normal Eishes Ish punishment. Divrei Ramel. The Chacham says Zuvazu, whether it's a Bas Cohen married to Yisrael Kasher or Bas Cohen who marries to one of the Psulim, Meshama is the Sakaren, you pay the principal, Meshama is the Chacham, you don't pay the fifth, Omi is Sasam B'Sreifa. And whatever the case is, a Bas Cohen as Mazana is Sreifa. But both ways round, they don't pay the Chomesh. So whether it's Bas Cohen to Psulim, whatever, they don't pay the Chomesh, just pay the Keren. Someone who gives Truma to his young children by mistake, and Avadav is Avid Kanani, Ben Gedalim Ben Ketanim, whether they're old or young, and also Echel Trumas Chuz La'aretz, you eat Truma from Chuz La'aretz, which is a rabbinical obligation, Ha'echel Pachos B'Kazayis Truma, and one who eats less than a Kazayis of Truma. In all these situations, the din is Meshalim Sakaren, Ve'ena Meshalim Sakaren, you pay the principal, not the fifth, but Tashlumin Chulin. And when you pay this Tashlumin, this principal, it does not receive Kedushas Truma. Okay? If the Kohen wants to give up on that payment of the Tashlumin, of the principal, Meichel, then he can do so. It's just a monetary obligation which the Kohen can forego if he wishes. Right? So that's what?
These people you're killing, they have to pay as well.
Who's killing?
Further before.
No, that was a totally different din.
I know.
That was a din about whether
I was just looking.
That was not to do with when there's Misa, there's not usually any payments, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But that was talking about adulteress, nothing to do with eating Truma here. That was talking about a separate avera of immorality, that there's a din of how do we punish a Bas Cohen gets Reifa, whereas a normal Bas Yisrael gets Chenek. Okay, so what have we got here? So we said cases where you give the children to eat or the avodim. If it's less than Kazayis, you pay the Keren, you don't pay the Chomesh, and the payment is done in Chulin, and the Kohen can give up on it. Now, what about various cases about Achil Tashlumin for eating Truma through a Zah? Zah class, this is the rule. Kol Mishalem Keren B'Chomesh, when you pay the principal and the fifth, Tashlumin Truma, then what you're paying becomes Truma status. Okay, so you have to use normal Chulin, which is Tahar, and that becomes Truma. Right? It has to be food fitting to have Kedushas Truma, and by making the payment, it receives Kedushas Truma. Okay? And that's more kapara for what's been eaten. Right? And Imrasa Kohen Limchal, if the Kohen wants to give up on that and forego that, Eina Mochel, he can't do so. When you've got cases where you only pay the principal, not the fifth, then the Tashlumin Chulin. Then the Tashlumin is Chulin, and if Rasa Kohen, then it's just a monetary obligation. If Rasa Kohen Limchal Mochel, if the Kohen wants to give up on that, he can do so. Okay, so we said in our Mishnah, a Bas Kohen married to Yisrael, then she's Truma, she just pays the Karen, and the death is Sreifa. It sounds like eating Truma, married to Israel, she gets Misa. But no, that's not true. That's a separate case. The Misa is a separate case. If she was immoral, married to Israel, Misasa B'Sreifa, then she gets this Sreifa.
That's like a complete chasura mechsera.
Yeah, it's like it's two cases. Matava, what's the source of this? Dermeh? She is a Bas Kohen, so who said what? Rameh said she gets chenek. So why is that? Matava Dermeh. It says Kitecha Liz when she starts being immoral like Sevilla. We learn someone who can go back to the father. A Bas Kohen is fitting to go back to eat truma. So this daughter, she stays as a Kehenes even though she married Israel. Yasazu, as opposed to someone going to a psul, marrying someone psul, she cannot go back to her father's house. She can never go back to eating truma, therefore she doesn't have that stature anymore. So if she's immoral, it's only chenek. Now, this is the kosher v'zinsa. If she married a kosher and zinsa she was immoral, harei ruya lachzor lebeis abiyah. Now she is fitting to go back to her father's house. Sorry, can she go back? She can't really go back to her father's house. Znus, she's like nivala lipsul, right? She's with someone who is possible to her, and she's possible from kahuna. And yet the Mishnah says if she marries Israel and then she was zinsa, she gets sreifa. So we can't really accept Rameir's view. So in this case, this says right, she marries a kosher and then she's mezaneh, so she's had a relationship with someone possible to her. Therefore, she would definitely be possible from kahuna. And yet, we said, why would it be that? Why is there sreifa here? My kedun. So what's the reason of Rameir? So we start again. He says, we explain it the answer a bit more. He says the punishment of sreifa to Bas Kohen. He says kiteichel is nice. So we learn when the problem is because of this nus, and were it not for that, she go back to her father's house like she's married to Israel kosher. That's the case. Not where the problem was the marriage before she was mezaneh, right? She married someone who's possible to her, right? We're not talking about that case. My Tamad Rabbanon, why do the Chachamim argue on Rameir? They hold even she's nisas lipsul and she's mezaneh, it's still sreifa. Why is that? Because the Torah says about Basish Kayin, it sounds like Mikol Mokim. It sounds like that's the din Mikol Mokim, and each one, whatever it is, she's a Bas Kohen. At the end of the day, she's a Bas Kohen. Every situation, even if she's possible from Gehuna, doesn't matter. Mayata, that's the case. Afilu halala mikana. Now, what about if she's a halala from her very beginnings? She was born from a Kohen who married a psul Gehuna. A Kohen married a divorcee, and they had this child. She should also be streifa. She's a Bas Kohen. And yet, it's not true, because this halala definitely has no level of Gehuna at all, right? Definitely, she's born from a forbidden union. She shouldn't, what's the case there? At the end of the day, she's a Bas Kohen. So, Tana Ruchidna Bar Papa Kumrab Zira, in the name of Yishmael, as Avia Himachaleles, it says, when she defiles her father, Ba'ish Tisaref, Es Shechilula, Machvasat, when the Chilul came because of her action, but not because the father did something wrong. So if she's born a halala, she's forbidden because of what her fathers did, not because of her own action. Therefore, if she's mezaneh, she doesn't get sreifa, she will only get strangled. Rav Chanina, Shainani, I learned a brayso under Yishmael, where he says, Afilu halala mikana, I learned even halala mikana, born a halala, she still gets sreifa, because she's still called Basish Kohen. Okay, that was his brayso. Now, we learned in the day, what?
They're still nisa.
This was?
End of the day.
Still Nisa, but the question is how we kill her. Now, it's yeah. Now, we've learned in our Mishnah, a Bas Kohen marries Yisrael, she ate Truma B'Shogeg, she pays the Karen, not the Chomesh. If she marries someone Posel, and she ate Truma B'Shogeg, the fee remains the Karen and Chomesh, Because Chachamim, you only pay the Keren. But Tanina, we've learned now, Kohen who eats Truma and he finds out he's the son of a divorcee, or Ben Chalutza. Rabbi Eliezer Chayav Keren v'Chomesh. Rabbi Eliezer says you have to pay the Keren and the Chomesh. Rabbi Shua Poiter. Shua says you don't. Now, even this Kohen, who might be a Cholol from birth, he never was entitled to eat Truma, and according to Bishua, he's potter from paying even the Keren. Now, if Bishua says even the Keren he doesn't have to pay, then definitely a Bas Kohen who marries a Yisrael or Apostle, she had a right to eat Truma until she got married. So according to Bishua, the Bishua's opinion doesn't fit in with any of the two opinions we mentioned already. Our Mishnah says everyone agrees she has to at least pay the Keren. But it seems there's this third opinion of Yeshua who'll say she doesn't have to pay anything. We don't mention him in our Mishnah. They wanted to say, Ma'apligim, what's the argument of Rabbi Yeshua? But Chomesh, only with the fifth. But Keren, Rabbi Yeshua made it. Rabbi Yeshua agrees, you're right, he does have to pay the Keren. So his view can fit in at least like the Chachamim in our Mishnah, and therefore we didn't need to bring a third opinion. Or I'll give another answer. Rabbi Yeshua really putters even the Keren. Ma'apligim, what is the argument of Rabbi Yeshua? L'sha'ava. If it's already happening to pay for Truma that's already been eaten in the past, before the Kohen found out he was a Ben Grusha, so Rabbi Yeshua says, okay, you're pasul, even from Keren. You shouldn't have thought that there's a problem. You never knew there was a problem. You didn't know. Therefore, it's honest. You ate with permission. But as far as payment now, for anything in the future, now that you know your position, and you want to pay now for the future, now you know your Ben Grusha, even if Bishur would agree, you have to pay the Keren, and it could be even the Chomesh, because now he's a complete Zar.
It's
Okay?
a perfect case.
What? But Mominus is Mominus.
But he was a complete idiot. He had no idea.
Mominus, you always have to pay, even someone's half asleep and he hits someone and breaks something, he has to pay. So here, what we got, you're right, he had no idea, but so that's the thing. Rabbi Yeshua says you're right, he had no idea, L'sha'avav things in the past, it's not a problem. But now you know, then Rabbi Yeshua might also agree you have to pay the Keren, and it could be even the Chomesh. One who gives his children and his servants, you pay the Keren, not the Chomesh. Now what happens? The master didn't pay the Keren, and the servant got freed. No, he's saying then the servant pays the Kohen, the Keren and the Chomesh. Meikadin, the servant has to pay these things. He was the one who ate it. The reason why he's patur, because when he's an Eved, he's got no money. If now he is free and he has money, he has to pay. And even if the servant wasn't freed, but if that servant had investments, like for example, things were given on condition that the master had no access to it, no, he's saying then the servant pays the Keren and Chomesh for the same reason. So if the servant has money, he has to use that to pay it. Hey Chavida, what will be in the following? Reuben Shegazal Mishimon Mechila LeLevi. Reuben stole Truma from Shimon, gave it to Levi to eat by mistake. Levi paid the money of Truma to Shimon now. So does that mean Reuben doesn't have to pay? Right, Reuben stole it from Shimon, gave Levi to eat. Levi ate, so Levi paid Shimon back. Now what does Reuben do? Yatzidei Gezelai. Has Reuben fulfilled his duty through Levi's payment? Or maybe Shimon can still go to Reuben. Are we going to say Levi's payment because the special din of Keren b'Chomesh about Truma b'Shogeg is also a restitution for Reuben as well, for the thief? Or maybe that's a separate payment, it doesn't pass a Reuben. And what about if a servant that his master gave him Truma was freed before the master paid the Keren? So maybe you're going to tell me the servant's chayav to pay the Keren. Has the master fulfilled his duty now by the servant paying up? Or do we say no, you can claim from the master as well? Tif look, there's machlekes Reb Chia Rabba and Reb Yana. This Palgud, we've got machlekes. Gaz al ma'afarate shel zev nasan lezeh. You steal a coat from this guy, you give it to this one. Reb Lezer Shem Reb Chia Rabba, he said, we take the money away from the first one, the one who did the theft. But not from the second one. The second one never stole it. Right? What happened? What was the case? Reuben stole it, gave it to Levi. So we take from Reuben, but not from the Sheni, because the second one didn't steal it. Levi didn't steal it. Don't claim from him. Claim from the thief. Rabbi Yana, he says, no, we can also take it from the second one, from I suppose Levi and Reuben. So here, in our case then, according to Rabbi Yana, you can claim the gzela from the second person. So in our case, Levi pays, right? Or the servant pays. That payment is also tashlume gzela. Reuven, the gazlan, or the master have fulfilled their duty. Quinter B'chia, who holds you can pay collect the Demei Gezela only from the Gazlan himself, then in this case the Levi's payment or the servant are not considered payments for theft. They are separate payment because of the chiyuv of eating truma b'shogeg, and therefore the Kohen can go back and claim the value of the truma from the thief or from the master. But after Rabbi Moida, he also agrees. Now we're going back on what we said. And we said, look, since you've given it to Levi, Levi is the one who's paid for the truma he ate. Rabbi agrees, that Reuven has fulfilled his duty. When he said you can't take from Levi, he said you can't force Levi to pay. But if Levi pays, then that will cover Reuven, the thief. Because it's a stolen thing has got to his hand. His payment is considered proper tashlume gezela, like our situation. So although the Levi or the servant, you pay the Kohen the value of the truma, his payment is also hashavas gezela lidei kahuna, right? And therefore you can't claim the stolen money again from Reuven or from the master. So basically we're saying that Levi's payment, Levi received it, he pays back. That does cover Reuven the thief as well. Okay, right, wonderful. Now we come to the sugya of toilin. Right, what have we got here? We got cases of mixtures, and we don't know if truma was mixed up in a mixture or not. Shtei kubais, we have 2 boxes. Can you see Rabbi Sai? 2 boxes in front of me. Yes, full of fruit. Achal shel truma v'achal shel chulin. One is truma, one is chulin. Shenafla, sar shel truma l'tech achas mehen v'yidu leis mehen nafla. A sar of truma falls into one of the 2 boxes. Did it fall in the truma? Did it fall in the chulin? We don't know. Harei ani omer. You know what we can say? We can be mekel and say l'tech shel truma nafla. The truma fell into the truma box. You got it?
Yeah.
The truma fell into the truma box. Why do we say this? For a start, this is the idea of toilin. If we've got a choice where to put this truma that falls in, we will put it in a place where it doesn't cause trouble. So if I've got truma falling, either truma or chulin, I'll say it fell into the truma. Now, how can we be so lenient? The answer is, it's a suffix drabanan. Wherever happens in our Torah, we have roiv. We have roiv wherever it falls. So it's a question of rabbinical din. So someone to learn, according to the Rashba, I say truma fell into truma. It's a special kula that you can say that there's no issur in the chulin. You don't have to, because bitter baroy, the issur didn't fall into this keli, it fell into a second keli. But safek rabbanan lahokel is not the reason to allow it. It definitely fell somewhere. It's considered one keli. So it's not just safek rabbanan lahokel, according to the Rashba. According to the Ramban, this is not a special truma heter. It's a din safek rabbanan lahokel. So even though the 2 boxes of chulin, or one of chulin and one of tebel, we can be lenient when you're going to ask on each box, did it fall in? And it could be you're asking on the 2 boxes in one go, or the 2 boxes belong to one person. So, there's a question, is it safek rabbanan lahokel or not? So let's see this again. So, shtei kubas achal shel truma v'achal shel chulin. Shenaf l'sar shel truma l'achas mehen. Ve'en yidu leis mehen. We don't know where it fell. Did it fall in truma? Did it fall in chulin? Harei ani omer. I say l'tech shel truma nafla. It fell into the truma. En yidu eizeh shel truma eizeh chulin. If we do not know which is the truma one, which is the chulin one, although they're both forbidden to Israelim, achal as achas mehen. If Izar ate one of them, he's parted from Karen B'Chomesh. We don't know if he ate truma or he ate chulin. And once you want to take money off him, you've proved it. V'ashniya, and the second one that's not eaten, naig b'kol truma, you keep it as truma out of doubt, and it's also to Israelim. And it is chayav chala when the Kohen makes a dough out of it, because maybe it's chulin. Therefore you have to separate chala. They're very remet. That's what you remet. Rabbi Yossi Paiter. Rabbi Yossi says, no, the second box, you don't separate chala. We don't know which is chulin. We don't know which is truma. Right? It's mixed up. We don't know. It's meduma. It's potter from chala. Achal acher min hashniya. if someone else then went and ate from, so you ate from the first box, or one person ate from the first box, someone else went and ate from the second box, does he have to pay Keren B'Chomesh? We don't know which one he ate. Maybe it was Cholin, maybe it was Truma. Patur! He is also Patur from Keren B'Chomesh, like the first one. Achal Echad Min Shneim. If one person ate from both boxes, then what? He definitely ate Truma. Is Chayav Keren B'Chomesh. We don't know which box was Truma. So if the sizes are not the same, Mishalem Kiktana Shemishten. He has to pay Keren B'Chomesh out of the smaller one of the two. Right? We don't know which one he ate. He ate from both, but we ate from both, so he definitely has to pay. But he pays out of the smaller one of the two. Because okay, you with me? Yeah? Okay. Now, right, you're going to hold with that. Right, so we said you have two boxes. And one is Truma, one is Chulin, and Truma fell in. Now, what happens if, this is another case, those boxes, one is Truma, one is Chulin, one of them fell into the Teicha Chulin, into other Chulin fruit. And you don't have 100 against it. You don't have 100 against the Truma that might have fallen in. So this is after the Truma has fallen in. One of the boxes fell into another box of Chulin. One of these two boxes now, which we're talking about, fell into the Teichulin. And you don't have 100 against it. It doesn't forbid the whole mixture because maybe the Truma fell in it. Each one is a Safek Truma. There was no Gezerah when it's less than 100, only with definite Truma, not with Safek Truma. We don't know if any Truma had fallen in, right? We have no idea. Bashnia, Naig Baka Truma. And the second one, you have to treat it as Truma out of doubt. The Chayeves Bechala, you have to separate Chala, Divrei Meir. Rabbi Yossi Poiter, he says you don't have to separate Chala. Nafla, if afterwards also the second one, Shnia Lavakamacha, so after one of the boxes fell somewhere, the second box also fell somewhere. Again, it's only Safek Truma, it doesn't create a problem. Nafla Shten Lavakamacha, if they both two boxes fell in one place, then you have to worry that there's definitely Truma here, and it forbids the mixture like the smaller one of the two. Okay, another din about these growths from these boxes. Zara es achas mehen. Now Truma, if you sowed it b'shoigeg, pasul, you don't have to go over the ground that it shouldn't grow. Stop it growing. There is a knas, gedule Truma, right? There's a knas, you have to uproot it. The growths are permitted. These ones, the growths are permitted. There will only goes out gedulim when it's definite Truma that you sow, not with Safek Truma. Hashnia, naig baka Truma. And the second one, we treat it as Truma v'chayeves b'chala, divrei meir. You have to separate chala. Rabbi Yossi Poiter, Yossi Poiter from chala. Zara acher es hashnia. If you sowed one box, and then someone else went and sowed the other box, pasul, he's also pasul from going over the ground. Zara acher es shtei, and if one person sowed seeds from both boxes, there's definitely Truma that's been sown. We don't know which one is Truma, which one is Chulin. It's Meduma. So the din is, Zareah, when you sow something where there's a forbidden mixture, Bedava Shazare Kala, if it's something like wheat or barley, where the seeds disintegrate, Mutter, that's okay. Bedava Shein Zare Kala, if it's like onions where the seeds don't disintegrate, also then it's forbidden. Okay? So we're talking about when you sowed one of the boxes, you don't have to go over the ground, because there was no Gezerah. Second one treats as Truma. And then we said if you sow one box and someone else sows one box, what the din was. And if you sowed both boxes, it depends, does it disintegrate or not. Okay? Fine. Still with me? Achas Tmeah, Achas Tahira. We say what? The Truma fell into one of the two. Now what happens? Now we've got not Chulin and Truma, but you've got two boxes of Truma. You hear that? Two boxes of Truma. One is Tameh and one is Tahor. And a sort of Truma Tameh falls in. Rabbi say, Truma Tameh, where do you want it to fall? In the Tahor Truma or the Tameh Truma? Any offers? It's not a trick question. Huh? Where do you want this Tameh Truma to fall? Into a Tameh Truma or Tahor Truma?
Yeah, I was in Tameh, yeah.
Tameh. You any offers? Yes?
But anyways, you can't use anything with the Tommy one.
I know. So where would you like it to fall? in the Tamei Truma. That's the din. Achas Tamei, Achas Tahira. And Truma Tamei fell in one box. We don't know which one. One is Tamei, one is Tahir. Where did the Truma Tamei fall? We say, you know what? It fell into the Tamei one. And the Tahir one remains permitted for Kohanim. If you have two boxes, Achas Medumas. One has a mixture from Truma and Chulin. Achas Eina Medumas. One is complete Chulin. So one is a mixture, one is Chulin. Truma falls in. Where do you want Truma to fall?
In the Damas.
In the Medumas or in the Chulin?
No, the Damas.
The Mas. You'd rather fall it into a mixture which I've got a problem with already rather than Chulin and ruin my Chulin. Yeah, but Achas Eina Medumas. So the Sod Truma falls in one of them. We don't know where it fell. And the Emin of Damas Nafla, it fell into the mixture. And also 2 boxes of Chulin. Achas Yesh Bo Kedei Lalos. One has got 100 Sar Chulin. So if Truma falls in, it won't be bottle. It will be bottle. But Achas Ein Bo Kedei Lalos. The other box only has 99. And it won't be B'matel. Where do you want the Truma to fall? Into the 100 or the 99? Of Chulin. You want it to go into Chulin of 100. I say, you know what? It goes into a box which has got enough to cancel it out. And both boxes are therefore permitted. So you had a choice of 99 or 100 against the Truma, we say it fell into the 100. Remember, Minat Torah is Potter Barov anyway. So it's the whole question of a Drabanan. So a Drabanan lahaka. You have to have in the second one of Chulin, Roiv. You have at least 2 Sar against the Sar of Truma that's falling in. Now he's not asking for a majority of 1.1 against 1. He's saying that you've got to have 2. And then even if the Sar falls in, it's Basel Min Torah and you don't have even the Issa Meduma Drabanan. That's all you have, Issa Meduma Drabanan, therefore they will make up. If you don't have Roiv, something Issa Deraisa, we can't be tied in Lahaka. You don't need Rive. Because Truma anyway is only rabbinical. Truma nowadays, he says, is rabbinical. So the whole thing is Drabanan anyway. Tamam, elsewhere, it talks about a fig of Truma. Now, do you remember, Rabbi Isai? We have jugs of Trumas, figs, and figs fall in. Remember, are they at the top of the jug? Are they in the whole jug? So we had this earlier on. A fig of Truma which falls into 20 Chulin figs, and it forbids them. And then one of the figs goes and falls elsewhere. We said Sveikon Bata Barov. When that one fell into 20 and forbids it, and then one falls elsewhere, we said now it's Bata Barov. You got a suffix. Is there Truma in the figs or not? It could be the one that lost was Truma. Maybe an ordinary Rov is enough to allow it. You don't need 100. Here he says you can't be told lahakel unless you've got chulin rov against that soft truma that falls in. You need a rov. So he answers Tamar with the figs, which, like you said, B'Shem Gamei in his own name. B'Shem Bakapara. Here's in the name of someone else. We have a steer in Rav Yochanan and Tamar with the figs of truma that fall into 20 figs of chulin, and then one gets lost. He says all the figs in the mixture are telling you about the Issur. Basically, we can't allow it that the Truma was the one that got lost. He argues on the Shlokish who allowed the rest of the figs. He says, no, they're all forbidden. Yeah? It fell into 20, and then one got lost. And he says, they're all mechiach from the beginning on the Issur in there. We can't just allow it like that and say, oh, the Truma one got lost. We can't do that. But he says you can be mekel suffix demua, more than Rish Lakish. Even if you don't have Roiv in the second boxes, he says against the Sal Truma, he said it was okay. The answer Shani Hacha is different. Here you have an opportunity that the Truma fell into the Truma or into the Chulin, equal chance, so we say it fell into the Truma, right? When you have the figs, most of the figs are Chulin. It's more logical to say the one that was lost is Min HaRoiv and not from the Mild. It's probably from the Chulin ones, that's why it got, yeah? One fell in, one fell out and went elsewhere. Well, we're makel because probably it's one from the 20 that fell into elsewhere as opposed to the one from Truma. Now the Brisa talks about cases of suffix demua where fruit is, some of it is tameh and some of it is tahor. Shtei kupas, 2 boxes. Achas shel Truma tameh, achas shel chulin tahirin. Right. Truma, Tamea, Chulin, Tahirin. You cannot get much further apart, right? Truma, Tameh, Chulin, Tahir. A Sar Truma, Tamea falls into one of them. Now for Sar Truma, Tamea, Techas Men. We don't know where it fell. Rabbi say, where do you want the Truma, Tamea to fall?
In the Truma Tamea.
In the Truma Tamea, exactly. And the Aimer, the Tershel Truma Nafla. We say, you know what? We say it fell into Truma Tamea. But Chulin, now the Chulin, yes, you're allowed to eat it, but you should be very careful, eat it in small bits. Make small loaves less than an egg size. So even if the Truma Tamea fell in, you're not going to be tummy for it. Now, if Truma Tahira, the Taich, if Truma Tahira falls into one of these boxes, Rabbi say you've got Truma Tamea and Chulin Tahirin. And Truma Tahira is falling. Got that? Truma Tahira is falling. Where do you want it to fall? What's the choice here? Truma Tamea or Chulin Tahirin? And we've got Truma Tahira falling. We don't really want it to fall anywhere.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
We're going to have trouble both wherever it falls. We're going to have trouble. So Aniyama, Latasha Truma Tamea Nafla. We say the Taha Truma fell into the Tame Truma.
Yeah.
At least the Chulin you can eat.
Yes.
The Chulin Yachlo B'Tara. The Chulin you can eat it instead of purity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better to say it fell into the Truma Tamea. Next case. Shtei Kupos. Achal Shel Truma Tahira v'Achal Shel Chulin Tamein. Right. Truma Tahira, Chulin Tamein. So this is the other way around for what we just had. Truma Tahira, Chulin Tamein. But now for Sar Truma Tahira, the Teichachas Men. And Sar Truma Tahira falls into one. Then you don't know we don't know where it fell. Rabbi say, Truma Tahira is falling. You've got Truma Tahira or Chulin Tamein. Where do you want it to fall? Into the Truma Tahira. Let's see. We say it fell into the Truma, which is Tahir. The Chulin, you eat it less than an egg. Next case. Nafla Sar Truma Tamea. So you've got Truma Tahira, Chulin Tamein. And you've got Truma Tamea falling. Okay, with me? Truma Tamea is falling. You've got, your options are Truma Tahira or Chulin Tamea.
Chulin Tamea.
Is that right? That's the case here? Nafla Sar Truma Tamea into Truma Tahira or
So it's the regular
Chulin
Truma
Tamein.
Tamea.
Yeah, or
So?
proper Chulin. Yeah, Shtei and Astoris, they're both forbidden.
So go to the Chulin.
Why? Why are they both forbidden? Not Avshach. Because what are you going to tell me? Truma Nafla. Also, so if the Truma Tamea fell into the Truma Tahira, then it's going to be awesome. And Chulin Nafla, if it fell into the Chulin Tamea, it's also going to be a problem. Also, it's going to be a forbidden. We can only be lenient to say Truma fell into a kupa when one doesn't get ruined. But when the second one will also get ruined if it fell in, then we can't be Taylor to allow the first one. So here, one box is Truma Tahira, and Truma Tamea is falling in. Problem. The second one is Chulin Tamein. Truma Tamea falling in Chulin Tamein is also a problem. You can't tell me the Sar Truma fell into the Truma one to allow the Chulin, because by that you're forbidding the Truma for eating by the Kohanim. Because Truma Tamei is falling into Tahir Truma, you're forbidding the Truma. So therefore you can't say be Taylor either way. So I'm afraid they're both forbidden. Lava, why is the Brisa worried? Now the Brisa had in the first case to eat your Chulin in a state of Tara. Now Lava, why is the Brisa worried about that? We said we can't allow the Chulin for eating. We say the Sar didn't fall at all into the Chulin because Safek Tamei, the Safek Meduma Muta. So the Issa Meduma is Drabanon, right? The Torah is Batal and Truma is Baroiv. So as far as the Chashash Meduma, we can be lenient and allow the Chulin Ba'achila. We can allow you to eat it. But because there's a chance that Tamei stuff fell in, Issa Tuma, Roiv doesn't help against it. If it's Tamei, it's Tamei. It doesn't help that Roiv is Tahir. It doesn't help us, right? Therefore, if we're going to be mashir this fruit to receive Tuma, it will become Tamei. It will become Tamei everything. Therefore, we can't be lenient on that. We can be lenient on the eating side, but we can't be lenient that you should eat it in big bits because it can become Tamei. Rabbi Yochanan said, Safek Meduma, we spoke about two boxes. We don't know which is Truma and which is Chulin. And a Kohen ate one, you have to separate Challah out of doubt. Rabbi Yochanan, Safek Meduma, A Safik Meduma, which is also for Zorim, like in case where Truma fell into one of the two boxes of Chulin, Potter min Chala. You don't separate Chala on that. Safik Dimua Hanachal Mishum Dema, so if you have a mixture where it's allowed to be eaten, but there's a Chashash Dimua. So for example, Sol Truma fell into two boxes of Chulin and Truma. So we say, right, we allow the Chulin. We say it fell into the Truma. Or Safik Truma, which fell into another box of Chulin, Chayav B'chala. In those cases, Safik Meduma, you might have a mixture, you might not. Chayav B'chala. You have to separate Chala. The fruit that's permitted for Zarim like Chulin, we treat it as Chayav Chala out of doubt. Okay? Rabbi Isai, we will stop here today.